This is episode 54 of the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast with co-founder and CEO of Perkville, Sunil Saha.
We are a customer reward platform. Our goals in life are really to help health clubs improve their retention, get more referrals, and increase that spend per member. So many new technologies all coming to play and all impacting the experience that the member has at the health club, in this rapidly changing technology ecosystem.
Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. I am your host, Josh Trent, and this is your number one trusted resource for the accelerating world of fitness technology. Each week, we bring you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You'll gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse of what matters most for your fitness business in the age of exponential technologies. In this episode, we're joined by Sunil Saha, the co-founder and CEO of Perkville, a company offering custom automated loyalty programs in minutes that is now revolutionizing how businesses motivate their customers to help them grow. This episode is for any club owner, operator, or fit pro who's interested in exploring how digital reward programs can be used to drive engagement, increase spending per member, and improve customer retention. So we know that technologies in the fitness space are helping everyone achieve greater results, as digital reward programs are making the gym experience more enjoyable for customers and more profitable for owners. But just how exactly do they do this? We're exploring this today on the show in depth to give you clarity and actionable steps you can take to have this be a value add to your facility. In the past, running a loyalty program was fairly expensive. It required a great deal of manual effort, but now there are automated tools available and tailored to clubs that allow members to track progress, use points, and interact deeply with the facility, all without the need for additional staff to drive this process. Sunil also discusses how fitness management systems are investing heavily in their APIs and mobile platforms, which is opening up the ecosystems for new players to come in to have an incredible impact on the engagement and experience for members in our industry. But with the plethora of technologies at our disposal to increase customer loyalty, how do we actually use these digital platforms and automated services to enhance the member experience and reduce the attrition? The answer to that question and much more takeaways for club owners, operators, and fitness pros in this episode with Sunil Saha. Sunil Saha is the co-founder and CEO of Perkville, a company offering custom automated loyalty programs in minutes that is revolutionizing how businesses motivate their customers to help them grow. Sunil has been working in tech for over 15 years since graduating with a BA in human biology from Stanford, and enjoys working in teams to build things that the fitness industry needs in this era of exponential technology, including product management, internet services, healthcare, small business marketing, and more. Sunil, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
This is going to be great because I can't think of a more specific and really contextual topic with deep aspects to explore than loyalty. I think it's changed so much, Sunil, in the past 3 years when we look at what actually is loyalty in the fitness space. We are going to dive into your story and kind of how you got to where you are now. But I just want to start this conversation with the deeper question. With the speed of business, how would you define, as the CEO of an organization that helps drive customer loyalty, what does customer loyalty look like in our fitness space for 2018?
Yeah, I think it's changing very fast. So we're beginning to transition, I believe, from sort of early adopters who've been trying out new technologies to the early majority. And I think there are a number of trends that are driving that change. One big trend that we're seeing now is that a lot of the membership management systems like ABC Financial, like Jonas Fitness, like MindBody, they're investing heavily in their APIs, and that's really opening up the ecosystem for new players to come and really have an impact on health clubs. So that's a big change that's happening. Another one that's really happening is the integration with mobile. A lot of new mobile players are in the space. A lot of the membership management systems themselves are investing heavily in mobile. And what's nice is they're also planning to open up those ecosystems as well. So companies like us can plug in and offer our solutions on their mobile platforms. So that's also very exciting.
It's interesting too, Sunil. I was mentioning to you on another call that I go to a yoga studio here locally in San Diego, and I actually got notifications about winning a t-shirt, getting into a new class, or even having a private yoga session for myself and my friends just from using Perkville. If people don't know what Perkville is, can you just expound upon that for them?
Yeah, sure. We are a customer reward platform, and our goals in life are really to help health clubs improve their retention, get more referrals, and increase that spend per member.
And loyalty has changed, I believe, so much in these past, really, even a year. You look back, Sunil, 1 year, the advent of technology and mobile, like you already mentioned, anybody out there has a smartphone in America. I think 9 out of 10 people, it almost seems like, when we look at how mobile is impacting technology and impacting the use of people going to a club and using Perkville, whether it's a yoga studio or a fitness space. How has this customer loyalty changed from your vantage point in the past few years?
If you look even outside of the fitness vertical, most coffee shops, for example, and small retailers were still using paper punch cards for their loyalty program, even 5, 6, 7 years ago. And now you've really seen most of those programs move to digital, which is very exciting. And we're beginning to see similar change in the fitness vertical, which has historically not used your traditional loyalty programs. But now companies like us and others are coming in and actually offering those solutions. So certainly there's new technology like what we're bringing to the table, digitizing those loyalty programs. You have a lot of other technologies, though, that I think are also impacting customer loyalty in the fitness vertical. Companies like ClubOS and InTouch for CRM, for example. Companies like Listen 360 and Medallia for Net Promoter Score. Companies that do heart rate monitoring like MyZone and FitMetrics. So many new technologies all coming to play and all impacting the experience that the member has at the health club, in this rapidly changing technology ecosystem.
We're going to talk about the deeper nuances of these customer loyalty, including calculating repeat customer rate. But I want to ask you about your work experience. It seems like you have such an eclectic past. You work for LinkedIn and Yahoo. You've been a product marketing manager. Looking back, was there anything you can really see that was of real value to your growth working at Yahoo and LinkedIn and then becoming the co-founder and CEO of Perkville?
Both my experience in Yahoo and LinkedIn was pretty foundational in terms of helping me start Perkville. So Yahoo, had experienced tremendous growth, and then they were beginning to struggle a bit, as we all know. And I don't know if you remember, there was a manifesto, the Peanut Butter Manifesto, it was in 2006, I believe, who was written by one of the executives at Yahoo. And he basically said, we're spread too thin. We're trying to do too much, and we need to focus our efforts. And I think you saw Google, of course, did focus a lot on search and ultimately was the winner in that space. And, that really helped me think about how we should build Perkville. And, we've decided to stay very focused on one thing and do that one thing extremely well. We, want to stay away from the peanut butter problem by spreading ourselves too thin.
Yes.
I would also say LinkedIn helped quite a bit in that LinkedIn tested everything. I think a big reason that they won in the professional networking space, they did have competitors. Most people don't even know who those are because they just, were so far ahead of them in terms of their growth. A big reason they tested everything. And, we bring that to Perkville as well. And I really encourage, we want to bring those same tools to our clients because ultimately we believe that a key way to understand if your marketing programs are working is if you're able to test them.
Yeah, we'll talk about A/B testing later in the show, how powerful that is. We look at repeat customers. In the blog, we link that it really costs 7 times as much to attract a new customer than to keep an existing one. I think we've heard about this so much, but can you tell us what this is, customer loyalty, how to measure it, specifically calculating the repeat customer rate?
With larger health clubs, we typically focus on their monthly attrition rate and driving that down. We also look at how often are their members coming to the club, and if we can increase their engagement with the club and get them to come more often, that's also very important. The repeat customer rate works really well for fitness businesses where perhaps they're not all membership based. They have a lot of people buying class packages, for example, and they want to make sure those people are continually coming month after month. So what we'll often do there is look at a cohort, see maybe all the new clients who they got, for example, in the month of April, and then how did they continue to come each month thereafter, and how does that correlate to participation in the program, if they have a reward program, for example, as one way to measure the impact the program may be having.
I think what's interesting for me too is maybe everyone can relate to this. Going to a facility and you get something that you didn't expect you're going to receive. You get that loyalty by really the club offering more than you even thought you were going to receive at the beginning of you being a member of that club. What are some of the ways that you've seen people use customer loyalty in giving more than the customer thought they were actually going to receive?
Yeah, that is it's a great question because most, I think, people that join a health club don't really expect yet to get rewarded for their engagement with that health club. So I think it's a nice A, differentiator, and B, way to keep them engaged because we believe in sort of the carrot. You can show them their progress towards those rewards that are part of the club that they value, and that's going to help get them to come more often. That's something that we've certainly focused on. And, we want to make sure that our health clubs strike the right balance between giving enough to keep those members engaged, but not giving so much that it breaks the bank. And that's very, very important because if you do structure that program incorrectly, then it's either going to cost you too much money or it's not going to have an impact on your business. And that takes a lot of expertise to really develop well.
Now, is this something that you help clubs and fitness facilities of many types actually integrate this to find that balance between giving too much and not giving enough?
Absolutely. What we'll typically do is build a model for them where we identify the activities they want to earn. We identify the rewards that we feel are going to be compelling for their membership. And then, setting the points at the right values, both on the earning and the redeeming side, so that members are going to earn enough. For example, if they don't earn anything in the first year, chances are it's not going to have an impact. There needs to be some meaningful rewards that they're going to get in that 3 to 6 month time period, as an example. At the same time, if they're going to get a free month of membership in 4 or 5 months, that's going to break the bank. That's going to be way too expensive for the health club. So you have to make sure, again, that you understand how fast those members are going to be earning those points and set the reward points for the rewards appropriately so that, it's a cost-effective program.
And what I'm hearing from you is it has to make sense, not just for dollars and cents, but also it has to make sense based on what the members might be enticed by. And I think that might be very different for each club, correct?
Absolutely. You have all types of health clubs from, sort of more budget model, high value to, very expensive clubs. And the members in each of those categories are going to expect different things.
You have a program here and it's really around creating customer loyalty. That's the ethos of everything. And within that, there is an advocate, a customer advocate. Can you share a few ways that fitness facilities can create customer advocates? And also, why did your blog choose that term, the customer advocate, instead of the brand ambassador? Are they the same thing?
Yeah, I would say they're basically the same thing. There are a number of value propositions that can come out of what we do. One, of course, is retention and loyalty. Another one is increasing spend. But a third is that advocacy and really helping your brand get the word out. And that can materialize in a couple of ways. It can drive more referrals, so your members are referring more friends, but it can also drive them to talk about their experience at your club on social media, which we know is so powerful for marketing. And so that's why we talk about customer advocacy in relation to what we do. But I do think there are a number of things that health clubs need to look at. Of course, improving your service, helping members achieve their goals, responding to member feedback, and making members feel appreciated. Those are all critical, we believe, to driving advocates out of your membership. And, in the past, these were all fairly manual processes to achieve each of those 4 things I mentioned. But the nice thing is new technologies have really come into play to make it easier. As an example, we strongly believe companies like Listen 360 and Medallia are doing very important things in both identifying who the advocates are so you can follow up with them and really get value from those advocates, but also responding to member feedback very quickly, which is one of the most powerful ways you can drive that advocacy.
Yes, and the customer advocate, no one trusts anyone more than a friend. If you have a friend that's had a great experience at a facility, I can't think of a better referral. Let's talk about A/B testing because this is kind of a tech subject that many owners and operators, they shy away from. Can you explain to us how they might use Perkville and other platforms to establish this true A/B test?
Yes, we are in the very early stages of adding A/B testing to our platform, but it's something we're very excited about because one of the big challenges with any marketing program is measuring the incremental impact that it's having. How many additional referrals are you getting from the program? What's the incremental retention that you're seeing? And ultimately, it's a hard thing to measure. You see retention improve, for example. Was it the program you rolled out, or was it improvements that you made in your club. And so A/B testing allows you to kind of test and really get that incremental data on the impact. And at LinkedIn, for example, we used it on every page you can imagine. So the email invitations that were sent out, the landing pages that you landed on when you were to join LinkedIn, getting you to invite your colleagues to join LinkedIn as well. Clubs can do something very similar. They have landing pages as well. They have emails that they send out to customers. All of those can be A/B tested. And there are a lot of great technologies that are out there today that offer those capabilities. And I believe that in 2018, you're going to see more of the fitness specific technology players adding that capability as well. We certainly are, so that health clubs can measure that incremental impact from launching a program or even changing the program. And I think that's going to become more pervasive in 2018.
This makes total sense, Sunil, because as technology grows and its impact for people to be able to choose literally any facility they want to go exercise and reach their health goals, it's also the industry's responsibility to rise to the occasion and use the cutting edge software and testing, really A/B testing, to meet those consumers at their deepest needs. Can you share with us kind of more nuts and bolts for the owners listening, maybe a case study or a test that you saw be successful? What impact did that look like when you're using an A/B test? Do you have a case study you could share with us?
One of the key pages that we test in our platform is the page where members refer their friends. And we actually launched a fairly sophisticated A/B test where we were showing many variations of that page, depending on, for example, what device the member was using. Were they using a phone or were they on their computer? And optimizing the page by device and even by geographic area. Where was that member located? And we were able to increase our referral rate by 17% on that page through that A/B testing. So, very powerful example of how A/B testing can impact the bottom line. Another flow that we test is our registration flow. So the emails we send out to members and the landing page they land on to join the reward program, to get more members engaged, again, so that you can continue to drive those referrals and retention. That's another key area that we've tested and seen double-digit increases on a continuing basis as we're continuing to A/B test those flows.
And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So for someone that's maybe feeling a little pressure in their chest, don't worry. If you have a smaller facility, if you have a medium-sized facility, there are some very cost-effective engagement strategies that you can try. We'll link the Perkville blog here in the show notes. But let's go over this. For people that might have a smaller size club, Sunil, what are some of these effective strategies for engagement that they can give a try?
We work with clubs of all sizes, and I think most of the technologies that I've talked about will work with the small studios all the way up to the large health club chains. And certainly a reward program is one that's fairly easy to set up and get started, even if you're small. The Net Promoter Score, Listen 360 Medallia technologies that I talked about, I think every business should be using those to really understand the issues their members are having and also who their promoters are and take advantage of those promoters. I think a lot of the app companies that are out there, it's pretty cost effective today to have an app for your club or your gym. So looking at those, I think, is very good. I think FitMetrics is one company in the app space that's growing really rapidly, all the way from the small clubs all the way to the large chains. So those would be the big ones. CRM as well. I think, we're seeing a lot of them do well in the medium size and beginning to make their way down to the smaller size. Companies like ClubOS, Gym Sales, InTouch, they've traditionally been more in the large clubs, but we are seeing them making their way down.
And also, getting customers motivated with gamification, which you wrote, some cases you can use gamification to boost engagement rates by 150%. One reason for this is customers are really just more motivated to complete activities like going to the gym when they have a goal, and gamification efficiently sets goals at the business. Can you expound upon that?
I can tell you, for me personally, I am a platinum level member on American Airlines, and I often don't even check other airlines. I go to American Airlines because, I want to keep that status. So the same concepts can be applied to health clubs and studios where, you gamify the experience for them and you keep them engaged through that process. It's not going to affect 100% of your members, but the incremental impact that it has on your business is ROI positive. And so, for example, some of the features that we have are you can set a frequency bonus where you can say, hey, come in 8 times this month and get bonus points in the program. And the reason you set it at 8 is because the people that come in 8 times in a month, they are far less likely to cancel than those that don't. So that's how you can really use the gamification to drive the metrics for your business.
And I think what's unique about that too is we're not just talking about hanging a perpetual carrot for people. It also involves surveys. How important is the survey aspect when we look at gamification, A/B testing, and even using a system like Perkville? You can't just deploy the system and then expect it to do it on its own.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. In-club promotion, staff training, those are all critical components to the success, I think, of any program that you have. But when you talk about surveys specifically, we do have an integration with Listen 360, and they've seen the response rates for their surveys increase by 70% when integrated with the reward platform.
Wow, what are they doing differently?
When you ask somebody to complete a survey, they might do it, but if they get rewarded for it, they get points in a program that they value, the odds of them completing it go up dramatically. And so through the integration, for example, people can get points for completing those surveys. And that just gives the health club far more data from a bigger part of their membership for them to get information and understand, again, where they need to make changes, but also who their advocates are.
You're talking about a completely digital aspect here, this combination of in-person, talking to the members, telling them about the rewards programs versus touching somebody only in a digital fashion. Is there a percentage? Is it 20% face-to-face, 80% digital? What have you seen be the balance there between talking about the loyalty programs in person versus disseminating them digitally?
I think it can probably increase it by 30 to 50%. If you actually have good in-club promotions, the staff is trained well, they talk about it at the point of sale, I think 30 to 50% increase in engagement of the program is possible. That's typically what we see when, we know a health club is doing a good job and a health club that's probably not really focused on promoting it in the club. That's the kind of gap that we see in the engagement.
Let's shift here because you announced Perkville's partnership with MyZone, and you talked about most of the population you serve requires some form of extrinsic reward to keep them focused. For people that find exercising to be a chore or, for clubs that are really wanting to get more members engaged, why did this partnership happen with Perkville and MyZone now? What's the timing on this?
It was really driven by our clients. It was one of our top requests from our health clubs. They wanted to integrate their MyZone platform to Perkville so that they could drive more engagement with MyZone. And so, we built a fairly good integration with MyZone such that it's real time. People complete their workouts, they get points right away. And it's based on converting those MEPs to the extrinsic rewards in the program. So they get tangible rewards, not just sort of points for points' sake, but real things that they can redeem.
So not just for participating, but also for reaching those inner goals while they're participating. In other words, if they're getting more MEPs, if they're getting more points, they're getting more rewards.
That's correct.
This is fascinating. I've really enjoyed this because I think loyalty is something that a lot of clubs try to execute on, but in this digital age, it is a completely different landscape. Sunil, this is the last part of the show. It's 6 questions for 6 of your answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received in regards to adapting to change?
I would say look for the long term. There's a lot of changes that happen every day, every week, every month, but you do need to stay focused on where you're headed long term, have your North Star, and make sure that the changes you make align with that North Star that you're pursuing. Because otherwise, again, I think what can happen is the peanut butter manifesto where you spread yourself too thin, a change comes in, you react, maybe it takes you off course, and eventually you're not focused and you're not going to be successful.
I'm going to have to look more at this peanut butter manifesto. I've not heard of this, so that will be linked in the show notes. You graduated from Stanford with a BA in human biology. Looking back, what aspects of this degree do you see really complementing your work now with Perkville? What's the bridge between that?
I'm not at all in the medical field, of course, today. I was actually planning to be a doctor and then halfway through college decided to go in a different direction, but finished up the major in any case. And what I did learn was the value of experimentation. So we did a lot of medical experiments while I was there. They all had the test group and the control group, so you could get statistical confidence on, the impact of whatever test you were running. And then what was very interesting is I saw that again at Yahoo, where we ran a lot of A/B tests. And then I saw it again at LinkedIn, where we ran A/B tests. That same value of testing we've brought to Perkville, and we want to bring it to our clients.
How do you personally stay healthy and well? You mentioned that you are a member, you're a customer advocate of the airline you had mentioned, but with this busy life and your travels, how do you stay well and healthy?
Yeah, that's a big challenge. We also have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at home. So between work and kids, it is a huge challenge to stay active. One thing that we did was we moved our office right next to a gym. And so, it's extremely convenient to go. The other nice thing about running a startup is we're pretty casual, and I can actually come to work sometimes in my workout apparel. So I have no excuse. The gym is right there. I'm already dressed for the gym. I have to go. And that's really had the biggest impact for me.
That is so great. You're taking away decision fatigue. You're dressing in the clothes that you go to the gym and work in. And let's be honest, in the fitness space, it's kind of cool that we get to wear clothing like that, isn't it? It's much more comfortable. When we look at excitement, there's a lot of people that are talking about how excited they are of machine learning being an impact to the fitness space. But in your vantage, what do you see about the impact of machine learning for customer loyalty in the fitness space?
Yeah, no, I think machine learning can have a huge impact in many different ways. And we're at the very beginning of leveraging machine learning technology, I believe. One way we are experimenting with it, and we're again in the very early stage, is we are using machine learning to identify members that look like they're going to stop coming to the club. And we want to identify those members before they fully stop, because we know once they're out the door, they're far harder to get back in the door. So if we can identify them early on, that's where we can have the biggest impact. And then what we do with that data is we're testing different campaigns to try and keep them engaged with the club before, again, they stop coming. So that's just one example, I think, of how machine learning can help health clubs. There are so many other data points and data elements that can be taken advantage of.
As a business owner, when you look back, has there been a threshold that you've crossed? What's one of the hardest lessons you've learned as a business owner?
I think one of the hardest lessons is, even though I got an early lesson in it at Yahoo with the Peanut Butter Manifesto, when you start a company, you kind of want to conquer the world at the beginning. And, we were doing lots of different things in many different verticals and a little unfocused. And I quickly learned to really be great at one thing, you have to focus all your efforts on it. And that's sort of a shift that we've made, and one that's turned out really well.
This intersection of fitness and tech, what does this mean to you? What's possible for not just our industry's bottom line, but also the impact on global health?
Yeah, no, I think the nice thing about the intersection of fitness and tech is that, everybody's interests are aligned. Health clubs obviously want to make more money. Members want to get healthier. The more health clubs can help their members get healthier, the more money they're going to make. So I really think technology helps make all that possible more profitably. It really reduces the cost to helping everyone achieve their goals. Some examples of that are, without the technology, running a loyalty program would be fairly expensive. There would be a lot of manual effort involved, but we automate most of that. The mobile apps that are out there now really enable members to self-serve and look up things on their own and even buy things on their own. Whereas before, you would have to hire more staff to handle those incoming calls. Companies like Listen 360 and Medallia enable you to get that feedback that you possibly would have cost you a lot of money to survey before. And CRMs obviously increase the efficiency of your sales team. So all of us, I think, are working hard to help health clubs achieve their goals, which ultimately helps members achieve their goals and will increase everyone's health.
So, Sunil, really enjoyed this exploration of the fitness loyalty programs that will actually drive revenue and engagement. Is there anything we missed when we look at point-based rewards, retention, social media, increasing spend per customer that you can leave as parting guidance for our club owners?
We covered a lot of great topics. For anyone that is interested in learning more, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Feel free to visit www.perkville.com and give us a ring.
Sunil, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Exceeding member expectations is a critical piece for any facility who wants to increase customer retention. Sunil recommends implementing loyalty programs shortly after a member joins and then allowing them to start seeing those rewards within the first 3 to 6 months. This can act as a successful differentiator for the facility and quickly create a loyal and engaged customer. Along with creating this upfront value, it's also necessary to show a member's progress along the way to keep them motivated. as they work towards their goals. Leadership from the top down regarding loyalty programs through educating staff is paramount. If a loyalty program is going to be successful, it's necessary to share, communicate, and properly disseminate this information within the club. Sunil has seen a 30 to 50% increase in engagement when staff members are properly trained to talk about the value of loyalty programs. It's important that clubs find good balance between their marketing efforts and their spending. What Perkville truly helps facilities with is figuring out how to spend enough to reward and keep members involved without breaking the bank. Clubs must identify the rewards that are compelling enough for their members while also setting points at the right values on the earning and redemption side. When a facility sets the points at the right value, they increase the chance of having a meaningful and cost-effective program, which at the end of the day means more members seeing their health goals come to fruition. Thank you for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. Here's a quick message from Brian O'Rourke.
Hello, everyone. This is Brian O'Rourke. Thanks for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. I also want to extend our thanks to Josh and the many, many wonderful professionals who've contributed their time and expertise for free for the health club and fitness industry at large. Wouldn't you like your fitness brand, product, or service to be featured on a podcast like this? I know I would. And that's why the Fitness Industry Technology Council, myself, and our companies like Moon Mission Media, Baderi Ventures, and Vertimax, among others, have been underwriting the podcast for the last 9 months. Check the show notes for details and consider becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to reach thousands of industry professionals in the fitness and health club space and be a part of educating people on technology adoption and all the opportunities it's going to provide. So please consider joining us here at the podcast, and we look forward to the many series of podcasts ahead. Thanks so much.